All right, now we are continuing in the Mimer Matza Zu, which is found in, it was said in 1989 by the Lubavitcher Rebbe, the Melech HaMashiach, and here it is. It's in Maimrim Melukatim, Maimrim Melukatim, right? Gimel. Here we go, everyone. See, I'm learning how to hold it properly. And this Maimer is said under the dire panic conditions of the coronavirus, where you shouldn't breathe in, don't breathe out. You have to wash yourself at least 300 times a day, and don't leave your house. Don't think positively. Do not think positively. Worst thing in the world. It might go away, and then what do we do? What do we do if we don't have a coronavirus to worry about? Anyway, this was a cynical statement. The only way to combat this, of course, God has provided people, as the Rebbe said, God for sure will provide someone that will give a cure. It seems that Trump has come up with a cure, and other people are coming up with a cure. And in addition to, but the biggest cure is, you can be released from your house and there's no virus, and there's still people worry and they're depressed and they're anxious and they're miserable, which is a much bigger cause of negative things than this coronavirus can ever possibly be. Even though there's some people who put into the coronavirus, they inject their own worries, so they figure it's going to increase, what's they call it, diametrically, is that the word for it? That today there's only one person, but tomorrow there'll be two. What? Geometrical. Anyway, today there's one, but tomorrow there'll be two. And then there's going to be four, and then there's going to be 8. It's just sort of in your corner, multiplying like this, like little spiders. And then the next day there's going to be 16, and then there's 32. What's the big deal? 32. But all of a sudden on the 30th day, it pops up from 1,000 to 2,000 to 1,000,000 to 1,000,000,000 to 1,000,000,000, and then it starts going interterrestrial. Interterrestrial. There's not enough people in the world. Then it starts. It gets all the animals and the bears. Then then there's the fish, the protozoa, and then it goes to Mars, and the Martians, and then after that the sun, the moon, everything just stops because of the coronavirus. Never been anything like this in the world. And if that doesn't get you, then the global warming for sure will get you. And that doesn't get you, then we always have anti-Semitism. Then there's all these other diseases that there are. The biggest disease is worry. And it is totally in our control to worry or not. Totally. My friends, do not listen to the prophets of doom. Do not. There is a corona this, yes, and you have to beware, and you have to be careful, and you have to keep far away from everybody. But don't let it enter you into your heart and into your brain. Let your body, you want to be separate. There's people that are, I'm sorry to say, they don't want to go to a minyan, they don't want to go outside, they don't even think about going outside. They don't even hear somebody tell them to think about going outside. They just hear those words, they get angry, they go berserk. You're killing everyone, you have blood on your hands, you're a murderer, Hitler was nothing compared to you. You say, see that I thought you were my friend, now I realize you're trying to kill me. It's like Jackie Mason has a joke. He says that he read these health books, and he sees that the tomatoes are not healthy, and that bread is not healthy, and that rice is not healthy, and that meat is not healthy. He said, all these years I thought my wife was trying to feed me. Now I realize she was trying to kill me. Okay, let's go. My friends, the purpose of Hasidus, the purpose of Hasidut is to make people happy. Hashem is with us. Hashem loves us. Hashem always cares about us. Don't be a fool, but the most foolish thing you can do is to worry. Let it come into your heart. Okay, let's go. I'm sorry. There we go. That was my part to dispel the terrible plague of worry and fear and anxiety and uncertainty which is sweeping through the hearts of the world. And God forbid, it has entered into the hearts of the Chabad Hasidim. We're supposed to save the world, and instead the world is having its effect on us. Oy v'voy lanu. Yesh lo osif, we can say, we can add on. the milas of matzah, that the matzah that we eat after the giving of the Torah, on the matzah which is after midnight that was then. Let me just make a short resume of what we said. Matzah has amazing, just like food has vitamins in it, right? Vitamins in the food. Who would dream food has vitamins in it? At one time they thought that food was like, throwing wood into a fire. It doesn't really make any difference what you fire. Just keep the fire going. So it doesn't make that much difference what you eat. Then they discovered, no, that there's vitamins, there's minerals, there's all sorts of nutrients in the food. Well, there's more nutrients than you think. It says if a Jew takes food and he makes a blessing on it and he uses that food to serve God, that there's what's called sparks of meaning, sparks of holiness inside of everything in the world that we can use. One of the tendencies of what's called the godly soul is it wants to know what everything in the world is for. What in the world is everything for? It's a beautiful mimer in, what is it? Mimer in, what is it? Anyway, in Sefer Maimorim Aleph of the previous Rebbe. I can't find the mimer here. Anyway, it talks about the godly soul of a Jew wants to know what everything in the world is for. What does God want everything in the world for? Well, then we have commandments. Commandments also draw godliness into us. But there's one commandment that goes inside of you, and that is eating matzah. Eating matzah and learning Torah. Torah, when it goes inside of you, it's just logic, but it has a tremendous effect on you. And the same thing is when you eat matzah. Matzah, when it goes inside, it's physical food, but it has a tremendous vitamins of godliness inside of you, puts inside of you. What are these vitamins? What is this godly power? So that's what the Rebbe is explaining. First of all, the matzah that we're eating is a remembrance of the matzah that the Jewish people ate before they left Egypt. That's why we eat matzah, to remind us the night of the Seder was before they left Egypt. We're eating matzah. This matzah gave the Jews faith. We spoke about this in the previous. Matzah is called the food of faith. Maichla the mehemenuta. That's in the Zohar. Food of faith. When the Jews ate matzah, they recognized God. They recognized that God is above understanding. He's too real to be comprehended by our understanding or by our eyes or by our ears. Too real. It's a type of reality that that creates our eyes, creates our understanding. When the Jewish people ate matzah, they had this level of faith, emunah, recognition of the creator of the universe, of our Father in heaven. But it was very small, like a little baby. Then, when they left Egypt, they also took matzah with them, and that matzah was after God revealed himself. Melech Malchei Amlachim Kodesh Baruch Hu, God revealed himself, then the dough could not rise up, because raising up is synonymous with egotism. There could not be any egotism. God revealed himself, because what is egotism? I am, I think, I am. And all of a sudden, when God revealed himself and took all of the Jews out, everybody realized, I'm just a creation. I'm just a creation. It's a miracle that I'm here. Every second is just an amazing miracle. How do I exist? God is creating me. I'm with my Creator. So there was no egotism. The same thing. The bread couldn't raise up. The bread couldn't raise up, and that's what we say. Surprisingly, even though the matzah that we're eating is reminding us of the matzah they ate before God revealed Himself back there in Egypt. But what do we say in a Haggadah of Pesach? The matzah that we're eating is because God revealed Himself on the Jews, and the dough could not raise up. And the Rebbe says that's talking about the matzah that they ate. There wasn't a commandment to eat. They ate that after midnight, and it couldn't raise up because God revealed Himself. But we're not eating matzah because of that. We're eating the matzah because of before. So the Rebbe says, yes, it's true. We are eating the matzah because of before. But now the matzah that we're eating now is after midnight of back then. It's 3,332 years after the Jews left Egypt back then. So we have that revelation of the Malach Malchei Malachim HaKodesh Baruch Hu. The essence of God is in a higher level of faith, of emunah, a higher level of connection to God. Says the Rebbe even more. After that, the Jewish people receive the Torah. They have the revelation of the Torah in the matzah as well. And not only that, we have the revelation in our matzahs. The vitamins inside of our matzahs are also a conglomerate of all of the commandments that we've done the whole entire year from before. So now we're in the second paragraph. Let's go. Yesh lahosif, we can add on the ma'ila the matzah, that the advantage of the matzah she'anu ochlim, that we eat achrei matan Torah, after matan Torah, is better than the matzah that they ate back then. After midnight is, in addition, hosif and nosaf, in addition, alagili, the revelation in the matzah that we eat comes by means of kadimas avoda, that we've done Torah and mitzvahs, bekiyum Torah mitzvahs, before Pesach, the whole year before, right? The whole year before this, since last Passover to now, we've done all sorts of good deeds and good things. Ella, true, it could be we've done bad things also, but bad things don't last. Bad things are false. They have no real existence to them. Good things, on the other hand, are eternal, because what is good? Good means you're attaching yourself to the Creator. You're doing what the Creator wants. That's eternal. We, in our state, we don't know what eternal means. We have no idea what it means. We get little glimpses sometimes of the eternal, right, in this world. You can see little glimpses of the eternal. You hear beautiful music. You look in a baby's eyes. You see a sunset, right? You see it. You do something that's honest. You help somebody. You do something that's truthful. You see a little glimpse of truth, something that's above your understanding. The little glimpse, but we don't know what eternal means. When you do something good, that good thing you do is eternal. A bad thing, it clings to you, but it's like this disease, right? It's a thing you can cure, you can get rid of it. But good, you never get rid of. Gam mipenei, a person, a father has a child, right? He's always his father. It doesn't make any difference. That's true. If the child denies that the child is a bad child, the father's a bad father, those things can cover it over. But the truth is always there. The same thing, a Jew does a commandment, he attaches himself to something that's eternal and true. Also, when you eat the matzah on Passover, it's also a commandment. So you're adding another commandment. So therefore, what you do when you eat matzah is higher than everything that's been done before, because it adds on one more commandment to everything you've done before. The matzah she'achrei chatzot, that the matzah that they ate back then after midnight, az hayomez, was beikar mainly mipnei shelo he speak. The reason it wasn't really a commandment back then to eat the matzah after they left Egypt. The commandment was to eat it on the night of Passover. Why did they eat matzah after they left Egypt? There was nothing else to eat. They couldn't eat cake. They couldn't eat. There was nothing else. Because of the revelation from above. There wasn't really doing a commandment. Okay, it was true, it's forbidden. They couldn't eat cake. I take that back. They couldn't eat chametz. But now when we do what the matzah that they ate after midnight, back then, 3,332 years ago, that was not a commandment after midnight. They left, the commandment was before midnight, to eat it with the Pesach offering, and then God said He'll take them out. But the matzah that we're eating, she'anu ochlim, after Matan Torah, this is attached to what? Our service. We are serving God. We are eating the matzah because it is a commandment to. Kiyum mitzvah, we're doing the mitzvah of eating matzah. So therefore it has, in addition to all of the things that we said before, in general, but it's also in specific, we are doing a commandment now of eating. And even if you never, Jews that never did a commandment in their whole life, they didn't do a commandment. They do a commandment right now. It's adding on to all the holiness that's already in matzah from all the previous generations. The Jew is doing the matzah. He's adding something in a way that's even higher than anything. He is serving God. Like I said before, and this is written in the Sikh of the Rebbe, when the Jews left Egypt, they were already called the sons of God. Like I said before, Paro, God said go into Paro, right in the beginning. God said go into Paro. It's like in the fourth what is it? The 4th chapter and the 22nd sentence, 4:22, Exodus. It says over there that God said to Moses, go into Paro and tell him, my son, my firstborn, it's really my son, my chosen one, Israel, let my children out. But interestingly enough, it doesn't say let my people go, like it says in the song, and like it was once written on. There was a bill, what is it, a 10 shekel bill in Israel. Let my people go. Let my people go. Well, the fact is that's a bit of a mistake. That's not a mistake. It's like saying the 10 commandments are, kill, steal. That's leaving out half of the whole thing. Don't kill, don't steal. Right? It's the same thing. Let my people go. It says, let my people go, and they will serve me. Shalach et ami v'yavduni. Every time it says shalach, I think one time it doesn't say v'yavduni. Shalach et ami v'yavduni. Let my people go, so they should serve me. The service of God, that's the most precious thing in the world. You feel like a human being, right? Worst thing is to be taken up and go into what they call assisted care, the home for the elderly, right? Veterans homes, right? You go into veterans homes, you go, what would you like, Mr. Smith, Mr. Brown? Would you like another cup of coffee? Would you like another choco, maybe another blanket? What would you like? He said, you know what I would like? I'd like to be young again and be out on the field fighting the enemy. That's what I would like again. I would like to be doing something. I don't want to receive all the time. Who wants to receive? Maybe the drug addicts or something. Just free coasting, right? You don't do anything. No. The essence is serving. We can actually serve God. When we left Egypt, we were called sons of God. But when we received the Torah, we became servants of God. We did it from below. We're not, how do you say, the assisted care anymore. That we could actually do this. Nothing is happier than that. Nothing can make a human being happier than that he feels worthwhile. That the Rebbe, for instance, was very against retirement. Very against retirement. You retire, you can do whatever you want. What do you want? I don't know. I don't know what I want, right? You go fishing, you go wandering, you go this and that. The guy after a couple of days, he just wants to die. Doesn't feel he's working or doing anything. Right? So you're doing something, you feel, I'd like to inject my little thing. I say that retirement is a good thing. I say retirement is a good thing. What do you mean? What does that mean? I'm going against the Rebbe? No. In auto races, you ever see these auto races? I mean, I watched a couple times. They make pit stops. One of the main things they do in pit stops, they have these teams that are really expert. And one of the main things, the fastest things they do, they put new tires on the car, right? Because the tires get all worn down. So that type of retirement, I'm for. You put on new tires so you can go back to the race. You can go even faster and even better. That's it. Little joke. Okay, let's go. The yes.
The matzah that we eat today.
Yes.
That is a commandment from the Torah.
That's what I'm saying. The matzah that we eat now today is a commandment of the Torah. So as a result, we are serving God from below. The matzah they ate back then after midnight. That's what we say, Matza Zu she'anu ochlim. The matzah that we're eating is because God revealed. That's the matzah after midnight. That wasn't the commandment.
But it is a commandment today.
Today, of course, it's a commandment. Today it's a commandment, and not that's what I'm saying. Now we are serving God. We are servants of God, not just sons of God. Right? We're not just sons of God. Sons of God, God gives us everything. Back then they had matzah after midnight. God revealed Himself. And there couldn't be any the egotism. We realized we're with our Father, right? But now, we're a servant. A servant is someone that he adds something to his master. He contributes something to it. He does something from his own volition that helps his master. There's a beautiful book of Maimorim, a whole series of beautiful Maimorim in what's called Tafresh Samech Vav. It's written by the Rebbe Rashab. And he talks about these different levels of being a servant, right? A faithful servant and a regular servant, Eved Pashut and Eved Ne'eman, and very beautiful. And then he says there's a servant that's like a son also, that even though he's the son, he's attached, but he also wants to do more for his father. And